What if a state law that once drew a line at 24 weeks suddenly removed that line, and left the decision largely in the hands of a doctor and patient? That is now the reality in Massachusetts. Democratic Governor Maura Healey has signed a sweeping abortion law that changes the rules for abortions later in pregnancy, and the decision is already triggering a fierce national debate over where the legal limits of abortion should be drawn. The new law, known as the Prioritizing Patient Access to Care Act, changes Massachusetts' previous standard for abortions after 24 weeks. Under the old law, later abortions were permitted only in specifically defined circumstances, including protecting the patient's life or physical or mental health, or certain serious fetal diagnoses. The new language instead says an abortion may be performed based on the professional judgment of the physician, removing those specific statutory criteria. And that's the detail at the center of this entire controversy. Supporters say this isn't about politicians deciding what happens in the most difficult pregnancies. They argue that doctors need flexibility when a pregnancy develops a devastating complication that doesn't fit neatly into a list written by lawmakers. Earlier reporting on the legislation pointed to cases in which patients facing severe fetal or maternal complications had been forced to leave Massachusetts to obtain care they believed they needed. Healey has defended the law in exactly those terms. During the signing, she said healthcare decisions should be made by women, families, and doctors rather than politicians, and she described Massachusetts as a state that will continue protecting abortion access. She also presented the new law as a shield against national efforts to restrict abortion following the Supreme Court's 2022 decision overturning Roe v. Wade. But opponents see the legislation very differently. They argue that removing the previous medical criteria creates a much broader legal pathway for abortions later in pregnancy, because the law no longer requires the physician to demonstrate one of those specific statutory conditions. Anti-abortion groups have described the measure as extreme and warn that Massachusetts is moving far beyond what they believe should be allowed. Here's where the language matters. Headlines describing this as an abortion law allowing abortions, up to birth, are capturing the central concern of opponents, but the statute itself does not literally say that every abortion at every stage must be permitted. Instead, it removes the previous gestational age framework and places the legal standard on a physician's professional judgment. That distinction is important, because what the law changes is the legal authority and criteria surrounding later abortions, not a guarantee that a doctor will perform an abortion at any particular point in pregnancy. The legislation also represents a major shift from Massachusetts' previous framework. Before this change, state law generally allowed abortion through 24 weeks and established additional requirements for abortions beyond that point. Massachusetts' own legal guidance still lists those previous provisions and protections, showing just how significant this legislative change is. And the political stakes are much bigger than Massachusetts. Since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, abortion policy has increasingly become a state-by-state battle. Some states have enacted bans or strict limits, while states such as Massachusetts have moved in the opposite direction, strengthening legal protections and access. Healey's argument is that states like Massachusetts must now lead on abortion rights as the national fight continues. There is also a revealing number behind this debate. According to Massachusetts Department of Public Health data cited during the legislative fight, there were 99 abortions performed at 24 weeks or later in Massachusetts in 2024, compared with 84 in 2023. That means abortions this late in pregnancy remain a small share of overall abortion care, but the legal question surrounding them has become enormously important because these cases can involve extremely complicated medical circumstances. The bill's journey through the legislature was itself dramatic. The Massachusetts House approved the measure 119-33 in July, and the Senate later advanced it before sending it to Healey. The final legislation now moves Massachusetts into a small group of states without a statutory gestational age limit in the same traditional sense. For supporters, this is about protecting patients from being forced across state lines during medical emergencies or heartbreaking pregnancy complications. For opponents, it's about whether removing specific legal safeguards goes too far and leaves too much authority with individual physicians. And that is why this fight isn't ending with the governor's signature. The deeper question is now being pushed onto the national stage. When a pregnancy becomes medically complicated late in gestation, who should have the final say? The state legislature, the federal government, or the patient and her doctor? Massachusetts has made its answer clear. And with abortion policy becoming one of America's most divisive political issues, the consequences of this decision could reach far beyond the borders of the Commonwealth. If you found this update helpful, don't forget to like the video. subscribe to Unix Media, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest news. Thanks for watching.